Hey everybody, it's John Wheatcroft here with our Sunday Q&A number 18. It's going to be short but sweet this week. Fortunately, things are getting really busy at the moment for me, although Liverpool has just gone back into lockdown. So I hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping well, and you're staying inspired and you're getting lots done musically and otherwise. So we're going to dive straight in with a tune as we have done in previous weeks. This is my arrangement for the Django Reinhardt standard Swing 48. And it features the amazing John Jorgenson. Now, you may know John as a guitar player of some renown, but he's also an equally good clarinet player, saxophonist, pedal steel, keys. I think he plays pretty much everything. But he absolutely knocks it out of the park on this tune. Super rhythmical and super melodic, and it really inspired the way that I played on it, and inspires the way that I improvise on this track, even though this is a different take, of course. So I hope you enjoy that. Then we're going to get into some of the questions. We're going to finish the chord melody idea that was prompted by Jordan a few weeks ago. And we did 8 examples based around a simple melody. So we're going to do number 9 and number 10. From that, we're going to extract a bluesy type of parallel motion idea that we can use anywhere. It doesn't have to be with that melody. So that's kind of like related, but can be taken elsewhere. Okay. Then I'm going to change to electric guitar. And I'm going to conclude 2 questions. One that was kind of unfinished from Wayne a few months ago, where he asked about hybrid picking, and I was playing on an archtop jazz guitar. So I thought I'd maybe approach it from the way that I would use hybrid picking on an overdriven electric guitar, more single notes than chords. And that kind of feeds into a question that I had from Matt about phrasing with the smaller subdivisions, phrasing with 6s and 8s and 4s and so on. So I'm going to tie the hybrid picking into the phrasing and the idea of playing and improvising, but with progressively less space between the notes, but at the same tempo, if that makes sense. So let's get stuck in. I hope you enjoyed this performance, and I'll see you on the other side where we'll deal with the questions. let's conclude our study of chord melody, where we harmonised a simple tune. If you remember rightly, it was this. Like so, and we did various different things to that, walking bass lines, harmonising with sixths, dropping thirds and sevenths in underneath it and so on. If you want to recap, you can find it in weeks 15 and 17. So we looked at the first 5 in weeks 15 and the next 3 in week 17. So we're going to conclude now with examples 9 and 10. So example 9, we'll use block chords. So a chord for every note. So I'm going to play it really slow. It's going to be this. So I'm going to play that really, really slowly. So what we have here is like a 9, a 6, a 13, and then we go to the chord of E flat. These are E flat 7 chords. E flat 6, E flat 9, go back to B flat, little hammer on. So slow that goes. Here we go again. And to our E flat. And then a B flat 9 to B flat 13. Now these are E flat chords. Little E flat dominant chords. 9, 7 on the top. So that's an inside 9. 9's in the middle. It's a root on the top. With the flat 7 on top. With the 5. Then parallel diminished chords. Then we keep almost like a diminished, but it goes to a B flat 7. Now, so that we've got some variation here, I went to an A flat 13 to harmonise this note, and then we could go to anything G chord that's got a root on the top. I like that one. I think I used this though. This is a 7 sharp 5 with the F in the bass. And then C minor. There's C minors. C minor 11, C minor 7, C minor 7, and then F 7 sharp 9, sharp 5, 9, 11, 11, B flat 6, and then F11 to B flat. Okay. Now the order of the day here is to make sure that you know a chord for every melody note. So for example, with our E flat 7, this is a cool little lick, if you like. So I could repeat that here for B flat. So that's like with the root on the top, with the 7. Now in our melody it jumps to the 5, it goes there, but we can put the 6 in as a 13 if you like. We looked at that in one of the earlier weeks where we took a scale and put a chord underneath it for every degree. Not meaning the chord changed. If say it was C7 for argument's sake, it would always stay C7. Or some variation on C7. Like so. Like so. So that's the pattern that we just played. C9. With the 7 on the top, with the 6 on the top, with the 5 on the top, with the 4 on the top, with the 3 on the top, with the 2, with the 1. And that's where these chords are coming from. Okay, so that's number 9. And then finally, number 10. It's kind of a variation on, we did one, I think it might have been number 7, I can't remember the numbers, which is based upon quartal intervals. If you check, you'll find it. So this is based upon parallel motion now. So meaning we're going to play large chunks where the intervals are the same, and it starts with quartals. So imagine that's our first interval stack, if you like, and they're all fourths. So I can move that around and go, or I can move it across. So that's parallel now. Okay, kind of quite modern sounding, I guess. Now the next one, then I'm going to do it with this like a 13 chord. You sometimes see that in big band arranging, you know. Okay, so the 13 chord. Then parallel diminished. Back to fourths. Now I'm just going to do a guitaristic shape, just straight across. So it's a combination of fourths and thirds. And what that is, that's a stack of fourths where the highest note stays where it is and the fourths move up or down. That's a cool kind of McCoy Tyner-esque type thing to go. Where a note might stay where it is. And the underlying supporting harmony can move up or down in semitones. So slowly, the whole thing. Then this finger thing. Okay, so that's 1 to 10. So if you feel inclined, dig out the other parts. Weeks 15, weeks 17. They're all on YouTube as well. You can probably find them on Facebook as well. So I hope you enjoyed that section, and that concludes the chord melody for now. We'll return to it 100% in the future, but from a different perspective. I told you we'd return to chord melody. We're back already, right? So this is that breakout thing that I was talking about a moment ago. We touched upon the use of a 13 chord to play like block melodies. That kind of thing, yeah? Bluesy sounding thing that you might hear someone like Kenny Burrell or Joe Pass or whatever play. Okay, so that's a common shape, and most guitar players who play jazz will touch upon that shape at some point. Okay, so that's the 7, the 3, the 13, and the root. And what we can do is we can trace like a blues scale in the treble on the top note. So, and we can use it to create like declamatory riffs, like the way that someone like Count Basie would arrange for horns. Okay, so that's kind of quite common. Nothing really new there. Now, what you can do, and this is where the interesting and maybe the unique side of this comes through, is when we start moving the chord shape to different string groups. So something you should do, just as a matter of course, if you've got 4-string chords like this, is go looking for other versions of that same chord. So you've got it here as well. So anything I can do here, I can do this. I can do this shape. It's the same shape. Making sense? So what I'm doing is taking the notes and I'm putting them on the second string. And you should, as a matter of course, as I say, do that with every chord. Okay, now, so again, that one's still used, maybe not as much as this, but it's not that uncommon. The uncommon one is when we do this and go. So again, those exact same intervals can be found on the bass strings. So whereas it's quite common to move this along the length of the guitar neck, it's less common to move it across the fingerboard. But we can do that now because we've got. So meaning there's our voicing with the root. It's the same intervals. Again, we have root, 7, 3, 6. So I can move that along this string. Making sense, I hope? Okay. So here's the blues scale B flat with the root on the. So the root unusually here is the highest note in the chord, not the lowest. Yeah, so. They're not really set up for high position chords, these guitars. So you get some interesting harmonies, like for example, in this one, you've got a flat 2. Flat 2 in there, yeah? But it works because the strong melody line of the treble note pulls the other notes through, harmonically speaking. Okay, so one of the things I do with this is I use this as the melody note and then I arpeggiate the notes underneath. Single note lines. So now I can move this across the guitar neck. Voila, so there we go. So there we have it. There's our B flat blues scale in position now, harmonised with 13 chords. Rather than moving along the length of the guitar. And then you can arpeggiate that, you can do whatever you want. You can even accompany your own melody lines. With these big chords. So I'm going to revisit hybrid picking now as to how you might approach this with an electric guitar with more of an overdriven sound. So in this instance, everything's going to be in the key C. We're dealing with a kind of moderate overdriven sound. It's not like super high gain, but it's gain enough, I guess. Okay, so the basic rule with hybrid picking is we're looking at string crossing. So if the high note that we're looking for, that we're searching for, is towards the treble, it makes sense to potentially enlist the help of a finger to do it rather than jumping with the pick. So the most simple basic exercise could just be 3 notes. So in this case, like C minor, C7, sharp 9. So we're going to go between Mixolydian and minor pentatonic and all the various things that you can do in C over a C7 sharp 9 chord. Okay, okay, so that's the pattern with a pick. And it's great, snappy, but it's going to slow us down because we have to move across the string to get to the high notes. Whereas I can position a finger, ready and waiting. And it can move it around. Yeah, so in this case, I can move it through scale. Or pentatonic. Richie Cotton type thing or whatever, he does that kind of stuff. Okay, you could double up certain notes, so instead of just being one, I can do a double. And get rhythms, you know. It's that kind of thing. You could move to different strings, so instead of it just being, in this case, one string away, 2 strings away. Or as many strings as you want, really. So what I'm doing now is switching to different fingers. That's the middle finger. At that point, then that's the ring finger. Could even be the little finger as well. So that's kind of a rudimentary pattern, but... And that can sort of replace what you might do with a 2-handed tap. You know, if you're into those kind of things, you might find, you know, occasion where, you know, you might decide to use 2-handed tapping. You might want to go, well, I can do that. With hybrid picking, the exact same thing. It's the same digit, it's in the same place, rhythmically speaking. So if you've done it with tapping, it's not that difficult to do it with hybrid picking because it's the same sort of motion that's in the same place from a coordination and synchronization perspective. So it's not that difficult. The advantage as well is that you can palm mute and you can do it with any tone, whereas tapping's a bit tone dependent. But tapping's cool too, but you know, maybe that's a subject for another day. Okay, so this is a simple pattern, and you can extend it, so instead of being agree, which is kind of a group of 4 now. So what I'm doing here is taking a 3-note pattern, and maybe we'll add another note. And the way that I do this is by moving and adding another finger. So I'll go. So in this instance now I'm bringing in the middle finger. For me it came from learning that Mark Knopfler pattern, but with a pick in my hand. The thing he plays in Sultans of Swing and a million, you know, loads of other things. Like one of his little engines that he uses. So it's like a hammer on, 2 fingers, boom. Of course he would do it, you know. But I'm going to do it with the pick, so the pick stays in the hand. And that's a useful little pattern, because if I was doing, say, a sequence of 4, say we're doing a sequence of 4 minor pentatonic. So those 4. That's now the pick and 2 fingers. That kind of thing on the way back. What happens is just one finger, because the pick is closest on the way up, whereas the fingers are closest on the way down. So that sequence of pick, middle, ring, pick is a big one for me. I use that quite a lot. So things like that's pick, middle, hammer, ring, pick again. And that could be anything really. It could be bigger spread notes, or it could be wide string skipping. It's the same picking engine, no matter what I do with it. So this idea of moving across using 2 fingers, like if I was doing a sequence of 4, or in fact I'm going to show you a cool little kind of line cliche that I use a lot, which is a sequence of 4 from an arpeggio. So say we take C7, I'm going to play sequences of 4 here. Now it's going to be 3 articulations, pick, middle, ring, finger, and a hammer on at some point. And the hammer on is always in a different place each time. So it starts off, the hammer on comes first, and then pick, finger. Okay. Then the hammer on comes last, pick, finger, finger, hammer. Okay. Then it's in the middle, pick, hammer finger, and then it's right at the start. So slow. Making sense? Yeah. And then on the way back down, I'll do something like maybe, just for variety. So that's kind of just going up one note, up one note, up one note. So in this case, the pick finds the lower notes and the finger finds the higher notes. So we go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Making sense? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. So that's using pick and fingers like as a form of like a little sweep. There. That's kind of a line cliche that I like to use. Another thing that I like to do is mix double stops in. So instead of going, oh my god, kind of a typical sort of hybrid picking thing I might use. So instead of, so I'm kind of going, instead of going, Richie Kotzen type. I think he does a lot of. I'm doubling up. That kind of idea. Yeah, that's quite good fun, and you can move that through pentatonic, you can do it through all kinds of different things. But the idea really is the rhythm is going between the pick and the two fingers acting as one. Okay. Another thing that I like to do with C7 is play things like 3 and upper string scales, but skipping strings. So for example, C mixolydian would be, so yeah, we're doing stuff like that quite a bit. So that's like taking patterns like almost like say you're doing thirds, but I kind of skip and play around with sort of improvising patterns where you might go like the highest note, the middle notes on that string, and the lowest note there, and then the reverse of that, the lowest, the middle, the highest. Or one I like to, and there's loads of different permutations of that. So there's like almost like inverse triangles, for want of a better way of meaning. You got the middle notes, so lowest note, middle note, highest note, lowest note, middle note, highest note. So it's like going, but spreading them onto different strings. I think Jason Becker talks about it in one of his videos. I've seen Borelli Legren doing it as well, and loads of other guys. Brian Baker does some similar kind of stuff. But it's just so easy with hybrid picking, it makes it so much easier. So without that, it's kind of a hassle to do that kind of stuff, which I kind of have to do when I play gypsy jazz guitar because the notes don't ring out so well with hybrid picking. But on these kind of things, it's hybrid picking all the way. So as I say, a couple of little simple cliches that I use. That's one. That's one. This one. Sometimes I'll hammer notes from nowhere. Like so. And then like so. Voila. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to improvise over a backing track, and I'm just going to maybe just call out a few patterns as we go that are going to be using hybrid picking. So let me just play some of these patterns against this backing track. One more time. Okay, next one. Slow. Okay, and then I'll do this the double stop. really great thing you can do when playing against a fixed tempo thing like a backing track is to play different ratios to the track. So I'm going to start ones, one up a beat. Twos would be like this kind of thing. Threes. Fours, and this is slightly swinging. So this kind of thing. Sixes, like sixes, yeah. Switching, you have 3. Six, you know. Fours, I really hope you got something positive from today, and I'd just like to take a moment to thank you for getting this far. It really makes a difference. The comments, shares and likes and all that kind of stuff, it really helps. So please spread the word if you can. If you know anybody that you think might enjoy this series, then please recommend it and send them a share or what have you. Don't be shy in terms of the questions. They're really the fuel that keeps this alive. We definitely, the topics that I look at, I want them to be prompted by genuine requests and genuine queries. Very often, my experience of teaching guitar as well as playing it, most of us very similar. We have very similar questions. Generally speaking, if you're struggling with something or there's something that you're not quite getting, it's likely you're not the only person. So if I can shed any light on it, or even if it's a topic that you're particularly knowledgeable about, but you think it might be a useful inclusion, it might be something that maybe I've missed, then please shout out. Just leave a comment or email me or message me. Pretty easy to get a hold of. But I really appreciate the positive feedback that I've had from everybody. I get a lot of messages from people. Not just in the comments. They messaging me privately and what have you. And it's really cool. It's the reason why I do this. And also, as I've said many times, for my own selfish reasons. Because it means I have to get it together. I can't play a tune and make a mess of it. Or demonstrate something and do it badly. So whilst gigs are thin on the ground, this is such a great way to maintain some kind of focus and some kind of inspiration to keep practicing. I start practicing some of these ideas as soon as I finish one. As soon as I finish this, Monday I'll be thinking about what tune I'm going to play next week and making certain that it's bashed into shape, that I can actually get from one end to the other. Whereas when not playing, my practice, generally speaking, is based around what I'm playing on gigs. That's usually what I do. I practice things that are based around sessions that are coming up, or recordings, magazine articles as well are good for that. They've really started again, which is really great. So everything seems to be beginning to come back to life, which is fantastic news. Although it does mean that time is tight, which paradoxically though I find sometimes time is tight. Generally get more done. Often value of things is based upon scarcity, or the abundance of time sometimes means you don't value it so much. When you've got less time, generally get at it. Whatever it is that you need to do, you generally get at it and you don't put obstacles in your way. So just kind of a little bit of a thought about practice is you may find that as things get busier that you actually get more focused. So sometimes making some kind of focus for yourself, and establishing some deadlines, even if they're just self-made, can be really inspiring in terms of getting it together. So thanks anyway, once again, and I will see you next week. Keep the questions coming. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you on a gig or somewhere. yeah, keep practicing and take it easy. Bye bye.